Welcome back, everyone. You guys sent in some really fascinating notes and audio clips about communication this time,
Mm,
and specifically this idea of congruence,
yeah.
like how our words and our tone and even our body language all have to sort of work together
Okay.
to make us believable and help us really connect with other people.
Absolutely.
So I thought it would be fun to do a deep dive into all of that today, see what we can uncover.
I'm excited to break it down with you. Congruence really is such a powerful aspect of communication.
Yeah, and I think we've all had those moments where somebody says one thing,
Yeah.
but their body language is like screaming something totally different.
Excellent.
Like, in one of the audio clips you sent,
Right.
there was that politician giving a speech,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and they were like praising a new policy, but honestly, their facial expressions just seemed a little off.
Mm,
Like they weren't really that enthusiastic about it at all.
that's a perfect example. It's
Yeah.
like what Professor Albert Moravian found in his research way back in 1967
Oh, right.
with the 55387 rule.
That's the one that says that only 7% of communication is actually based on the words we use?
That's the one.
Wait a minute. 7%.
I know, right?
So all that time we spend trying to write the perfect email or whatever is basically pointless.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, words still matter, of course,
Sure.
but it's just that Morabian's research, it really just highlights how important those nonverbal cues are.
Yeah.
Like, our body language makes up a whopping 55% of communication, and then tone of voice is another 38%.
Okay.
So if those things are contradicting what we're actually saying,
Right.
then people are going to believe those nonverbal signals way more.
It's like our gut instinct or something.
Yeah, totally.
Which makes sense why that politician's speech probably didn't land the way they hoped.
Right.
Because their words were saying, I totally support this, but then their body language was kind of whispering, not so sure about this one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why congruence is so important.
Right.
When everything's aligned, when our words and our tone and our body language are all on the same page, that's when we come across as sincere and trustworthy.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like, think about Tony, the salesman from that story, in your notes.
Oh, Tony.
The guy who was practically begging Rosa, the waitress, to buy that computer.
I remember him.
His body language was like a total giveaway.
Hmm.
Clenched fists, avoiding eye contact.
Oh, yeah.
It's no wonder Rosa didn't trust him.
None at all.
Yeah.
And, Rosa being a waitress, she's probably really good at reading people.
Right.
So she could just sense that something wasn't adding up.
Yeah. It's fascinating how our brains are wired to pick up on those inconsistencies, even if we can't always put our finger on exactly why something feels off.
Right. Like, that feeling you get when you're watching a movie and the background just looks fake.
Exactly.
Your brain just knows something's not right.
And sometimes
Mhm.
we're the ones sending mixed messages without even realizing it.
That's true.
Like there's that woman in your seminar, right?
Oh,
Whose tone of voice always sounded kind of angry, even when she was insisting she wasn't.
yeah. Yeah, I remember her. She was.
So it's like we can be totally incongruent in our everyday interactions
Absolutely.
and not even realize that it's affecting our relationships.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so important to just become more aware of our communication patterns.
So how do we do that?
Well, you know, you could try, like saying a simple phrase, like, I'm fine,
I'm fine.
but say it with different emotions.
Oh, interesting.
Like, say it with anger, and then say it when you're bored, and then say it with excitement. Just
Mhm.
notice how your tone of voice and your body language naturally change to match each feeling.
I love that idea. It's like a little acting class for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe even try that out with a friend
Mm.
and see if they can guess the emotion you're trying to convey just through your tone.
Ooh, that's a fun challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, it would. Just to become more aware of those subtle ways we're communicating beyond just our words.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we know that being congruent helps build trust.
Right.
But what about some other ways to connect with people?
Okay.
What about synchrony?
Ah, synchrony. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's basically about mirroring another person's behavior, but subtly, like their body language, their tone of voice, even their word choices.
Oh, wow.
And we do it naturally with people we're comfortable with.
Like, for example?
Like, remember those examples you sent? The father and son fishing together?
Right.
The family of plumbers?
Yeah.
The mother and daughter selling cheese at the market?
Yeah, I do remember that.
They all kind of had these similar mannerisms and ways of speaking,
Mm-hmm.
almost like they were doing this unspoken dance together.
It's true. Now that you mention it, they really stood out.
Right. So we unconsciously mirror people we're in sync with.
So does that mean
Do you think that means we can intentionally use it to, like, build rapport faster?
that's the idea?
Oh, interesting.
Like if someone leans forward when they're talking to you,
Right.
you could subtly lean forward too
Mm-hmm.
and can create this feeling of subconscious connection.
Oh, wow.
But it has to be subtle.
Okay, yeah, good point.
If someone starts picking their nose, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, no, I wouldn't either.
It's not about mimicking every single thing they do.
Right.
It's more about finding this natural rhythm together.
I like that.
Yeah.
So how do we mirror, like, a pro without it feeling forced?
Well, with body language, there's matching and mirroring.
Okay.
Like if someone crosses their legs,
Right.
you might cross yours too, but mirror it.
Uh-huh.
So if they cross their right leg over their left,
Uh-huh.
you'd cross your left over your right.
Okay.
And with voice tone, you can match their volume, speed, pitch, rhythm, even the types of words they use.
So, like, if someone is speaking softly and slowly, I should try to do that too. Exactly.
And see how that would create this feeling of harmony.
It's about subtly aligning yourself with their style of communicating.
That's cool.
But remember, active listening is just as crucial for building rapport.
Oh, right. It's not just about mirroring.
Yeah.
It's about really engaging with what the other person's saying.
Exactly.
It's like the difference between just being at a concert and like really listening to your favorite song.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Active listening is about more than just hearing the words. It's about picking up on all the nuances,
Right.
showing empathy,
Mm-hmm.
and responding in a way that makes the other person feel truly heard and understood.
Yeah.
Like you really get them.
So how do we get better at active listening? What are some like practical things we can do?
Well, for starters, using little verbal cues like I see, or tell me more, or that's interesting.
Okay.
They make a big difference.
Yeah, I guess those are like little nods of encouragement
Exactly. It shows that you're following along.
and encourages them to keep sharing.
What about body language?
Oh, that's huge.
Because I'm guessing just staring blankly at someone while they talk isn't the best approach.
Definitely not.
Huh.
You want to make eye contact, nod your head, lean in slightly. All those nonverbal cues that show you're engaged and interested.
Okay, it's like a whole body experience, right?
Totally.
What about paraphrasing? Is that a helpful technique?
It can be, but the key is to not just parrot back their words exactly.
Right.
Active listening goes deeper.
Okay.
It's about responding to their emotions as well.
Oh, so like if someone tells me they're feeling stressed about a deadline,
Right.
instead of just saying, oh, that sounds stressful, I might say,
Yeah.
that sounds really overwhelming. How are you coping?
Exactly. You're acknowledging their feelings
Right.
and showing that you genuinely care about their experience.
It's about connecting on a deeper level.
Exactly.
This is so insightful.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see communication in a whole new light. It's not just about exchanging information.
Right.
It's about creating a real connection.
And that connection is powerful.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling more confident about approaching conversations and building rapport.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's like you've given me a secret decoder ring for human interaction.
I like that. And the best part is these are skills you can practice and refine over time.
True.
The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
This is amazing.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned information tagging in your notes. What stood out to you about that technique?
Oh, that one totally grabbed my attention. It's like adding this little hook to your introduction
Right.
to give people something to latch onto in a conversation.
Exactly.
So instead of just saying, hi, I'm your name, you could say,
Yeah.
hi, I'm your name, I'm a friend of Sarah's, or hi, I'm your name, I just moved here from Chicago.
Right.
It's like you're giving them a starting point, something to build on.
It's so simple, but so effective.
It really is. Information tagging is like weaving a tapestry of connection right from the start.
I love that.
It sparks curiosity and invites further interaction.
Absolutely.
And speaking of sparking conversations, there's so much more to uncover in this world of communication. We'll be back soon to explore even more fascinating insights.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
See you then. Welcome back. You've been sending over some fantastic material on communication.
Yeah, it's really thought-provoking stuff.
It is.
And I'm ready to dive back in.
Me too.
Before the break, we were talking about information tagging.
Right.
And it's amazing how such a small tweak to our introductions can make such a big difference.
It really can.
Right.
It's all about giving people that conversational hook, something to connect with.
Right, right.
And that reminds me of another powerful technique,
Mm.
asking the right kinds of questions.
Oh, yes, powerful questions. I remember highlighting that. It's
Yeah.
about moving beyond those surface level questions like, what do you do? Or where are you from?
Exactly. Those types of questions can feel a bit transactional,
Yeah.
and they don't always lead to meaningful conversations.
Right.
Powerful questions, on the other hand, they tap into someone's values, beliefs, and experiences.
Like instead of asking, what do you do for work? You might ask,
Yeah.
what are you most passionate about in your work?
That's a great example.
Yeah.
By asking about their passions, you're inviting them to share a deeper part of themselves.
Right.
It shows you're genuinely interested in who they are,
Mm-hmm.
not just what they do for a living.
And it opens up a whole new avenue for conversation.
Absolutely.
Instead of getting stuck in that rut of talking about, job titles and daily routines,
Right.
you're exploring their motivations, what brings them joy.
Precisely. And powerful questions often lead to more powerful questions.
Mm.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, uncovering more depth and complexity with each question.
Oh, I love that analogy.
It really is like that.
It's about going beyond the superficial and really delving into the heart of the conversation.
Exactly.
What other examples of powerful questions can you share?
Well, instead of asking about someone's hobbies,
Okay.
you might ask, what activities bring you the most joy and fulfillment?
Ooh, I like that.
Or, what do you love to learn about?
Yeah.
These questions invite them to share their passions, what truly lights them up.
It's amazing how a subtle shift in wording can create such a more engaging and meaningful conversation.
It really is.
I'm starting to see powerful questions everywhere now.
That's great.
And speaking of subtle shifts, what about that concept of vocal mirroring? I remember being a little hesitant about this one at first.
I understand. I mean, the idea of mimicking someone's voice can seem a little daunting.
Right, exactly.
But remember, it's not about putting on a fake voice or doing an impression.
Okay.
It's about subtle adjustments that create a sense of harmony and rapport.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot between being yourself and creating a sense of connection. So what does vocal mirroring actually look like in practice?
Well, it involves subtly matching the other person's vocal qualities.
Okay.
Their tone, volume, pace.
Right.
Even their accent or dialect to a certain extent.
Wow.
For example, if someone speaks softly and gently, you might try to lower your volume and soften your tone as well.
So it's like you're tuning two instruments to the same pitch,
Yeah.
creating a harmonious blend of sounds.
That's a great way to put it. When our vocal qualities are aligned, it creates a sense of ease and flow in the conversation.
I like that.
And the fascinating thing is we often do this unconsciously with people we're comfortable with.
Huh. It's like our voices are naturally synchronizing as a way of building rapport.
Exactly. And by becoming aware of this process,
Right.
we can use it intentionally to enhance our communication.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's another tool in our communication toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
And like any tool, it takes practice to master.
This is all so fascinating. I never realized how much our voices play a role in building rapport.
It's a powerful, yet often overlooked aspect of communication.
It is.
And it ties in beautifully with the concept of emotional intelligence,
Oh, yes. Emotional intelligence.
which you also highlighted in your notes.
I've heard the term,
Yeah.
but I'm not always sure what it means in a practical sense.
Essentially, it's the ability to understand and manage emotions,
Okay.
both our own and those of others.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being able to read social cues,
Right.
empathize with others,
Mm-hmm.
and respond in a way that builds trust and rapport.
So it's not just about being nice or polite.
Right.
It's about having a deeper awareness of the emotional dynamics at play.
You got it. People with high emotional intelligence are often skilled communicators
I can see that.
because they can tune into the emotional undercurrents of a conversation
Right.
and respond accordingly.
Like, if someone is sharing a difficult experience,
Yeah.
instead of jumping in with solutions, I might first just acknowledge their feelings and show empathy.
Exactly.
Well-
Sometimes people just need to feel heard and understood
Mm-hmm.
before they're ready to move on to problem-solving mode.
It's about creating that safe space for open and honest communication where people feel comfortable sharing their vulnerabilities.
Beautifully said. And that sense of safety and trust is essential for building strong connections.
It really is.
You know, all these principles we've been discussing, congruence, synchrony, active listening, powerful questions, vocal mirroring, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
They all work together to create a more harmonious and effective communication style.
It's like a symphony of communication skills.
Mm,
Each element blending together to create this beautiful and resonant whole.
I love that analogy.
And just like a symphony, it takes practice and refinement to master these skills.
Absolutely. There's always room for growth and improvement.
What other communication gems are hiding in the materials I sent?
You mentioned the concept of conversational threading.
Oh, yeah, conversational
It's a great technique for navigating those awkward silences
Right.
and keeping a conversation flowing smoothly.
Yes, conversational threading. That was a big aha moment for me. It's like a lifeline for those moments when I'm drawing a blank and can't think of what to say next.
It happens to the best of us.
It really does.
Conversational threading is about identifying key words or phrases in what the other person is saying
Right.
and using those as threads to weave the conversation forward.
So if someone mentions they recently went on a hiking trip, instead of just saying, oh, that's nice, I might pick up on the word hiking and ask, what was your favorite part of the hike? Or have you always been interested in hiking?
Exactly. You're using their words as stepping stones to keep the conversation moving forward.
Okay.
It shows you're actively listening
Right.
and genuinely interested in what they have to say.
It's like you're creating a tapestry of shared experiences and interests, weaving together this rich and engaging conversation.
I love that visual.
It's a good one.
And the more you practice conversational threading, the more natural it will become.
Right. You start to notice those little threads everywhere.
Exactly.
This is so empowering. I'm starting to see how all these principles work together to create a more engaging and fulfilling communication style.
That's fantastic to hear.
It really is.
And remember, communication is a lifelong journey.
So true.
There's always more to learn, more to explore, more to discover.
Well, I'm excited to keep exploring. Okay, this is all so insightful.
Good to see.
I'm feeling more and more equipped to navigate this complex and fascinating world of human communication.
I'm glad to hear that.
But before we get too carried away, let's take a quick pause to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back with even more practical tips and techniques for becoming a master communicator. Okay, we're back. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized after reflecting on all these amazing communication techniques.
I know, right? It's incredible how much depth there is to something we do every single day.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how even small adjustments can make such a huge difference.
It's true.
I'm already starting to notice these concepts popping up in my own conversations.
That's great.
It's making me so much more mindful of how I'm communicating.
Awareness is definitely the first step.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I have one more burning question.
Okay.
You know that story in my notes about the woman in your seminar whose tone of voice always seemed kind of angry?
Yeah, I remember her.
It just made me think like, wow, we could be sending these unintentional messages with our nonverbal cues all the time.
That's such a good point. It brings us to the idea of nonverbal feedback,
Oh, interesting.
using our body language and facial expressions to really show that we're present and engaged in a conversation.
So it's not just about what we say, it's about how we listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. Have you ever been talking to someone and their eyes are glazing over, or they're constantly checking their phone?
Ugh, yes. It makes you feel so invisible, like you're talking to a brick wall.
Exactly. And on the flip side, when someone is giving you their full attention, making eye contact, nodding, smiling, it makes you feel valued and heard.
It's like they're saying, I'm here with you in this moment, and what you have to say matters.
Exactly. Those nonverbal cues create a safe space for open and honest communication.
So what are some specific ways that we can, improve our nonverbal feedback?
Well, it can be as simple as maintaining eye contact, nodding your head, leaning in slightly.
Okay.
These subtle cues communicate so much.
It's like giving them a nonverbal hug, letting them know you're right there with them on this conversational journey.
And the beautiful thing is nonverbal feedback is something you can practice anytime, anywhere. It's like a silent language that speaks volumes.
I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to my nonverbal cues from now on.
Good.
It's amazing how such small adjustments can have such a big impact on the quality of our interactions.
It's all about being present, attentive, and genuinely engaged.
And remember, it's not about being fake or putting on a show. It's about bringing your full self to the interaction.
Beautifully said. And when we do that, when we combine all these communication skills with genuine intention and heart, we create magic.
I love that. This deep dive has been an absolute revelation.
Good.
It's like I have a whole new understanding of communication and the power it holds.
And remember, communication is a journey, not a destination.
That's so true.
There's always more to learn, more to explore, more to discover.
And I can't wait to keep exploring.
Good.
I'm already noticing a difference in my conversations.
That's great.
And I'm excited to see how these skills continue to evolve over time.
You've already taken the most important step, becoming aware.
Right.
And with continued practice and a genuine desire to connect, you'll become a master communicator.
This has been incredible. You've really opened my eyes to a whole new world of communication possibilities.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and guiding me through this fascinating deep dive.
Of course. And remember, the most important thing is to communicate with heart, with authenticity, and with a genuine desire to connect. When you do that, the rest will fall into place.
So well said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
It's been fun.
Thank you all for joining us on this journey into the art of communication.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a new and fascinating topic.
Until then, keep those communication muscles flexed. And remember to connect with heart.
See you next time.